What's up, fellas? Another beautiful day. Uh, Although sometimes I don't feel like that, you gotta make the best out of it and keep smiling and handle your business. Today I want to talk about the war on drugs. I'm pretty sure you've heard of that before if you're around my age, or if not, it's a saying that they used to use the government to mostly to lock up lower income people, colored people, Mexican, blacks, and poor white people. But if you watch any of my channels and I talk about this raid that was going on when they were looking to indict, people and associates of the Mexican mafia. So the whole time they were had drugs running in, and I got to see it firsthand. So you know, um, it's my belief that they helped and set up people to get people didn't have drugs running. Obviously if they're doing this thing, they want drugs running through the system so they could find the players they're looking for. So if the government's gonna hand you guys drugs, my question to you is, you think they're just gonna hand you anything they got off the streets, um, or is that gonna go through a lab and be tested and you know possibly modified, or certain ingredients put in it? Because if you're thinking that far ahead, uh, the government, obviously they're just not going to feed you any bullshit. And and I'm not proud to admit, but I've used drugs on and off from since a young age. And um, back in the day, when I used to see the older homies that were tecatos and shit, they were all buff and looked healthy. They weren't all smoked out. And when you used to do speed, you do one line of speed, that shit will keep you up 3 fucking days. Uh, you know, it was a different quality of drugs. And as I comb through, you know, educational sites and stuff, uh, I come across information. For instance, like the cartels over there in Mexico. Uh, the U.S. has made it close to impossible for them uh, to get their hands on the ingredients they need to make the drugs that they're making. So they had to go to another country. They started importing drugs from China. I mean, ingredients from China, chemicals, and that changed what the drugs were like here. Crystal, meth, coke. You know, I've drunk drugs for a long time. Like I said, on and off for a long time, and I'm not probably tell you that, but I know the difference between what once was and what is now. All across the board, heroin, crystal, coke, you name it, And a lot of times people are, they're trying to get high. They're not paying attention to what you put in your body. I'm sober now, so I'm being able, starting to get a clearer mind. And the times that I would go sober, I would reflect on what I was doing and what was going on. Especially since I spent many years clean and sober, working out. So you get to know your body. And uh, so what I was getting at with them importing drugs from other countries, uh, and you got to think outside the box. Uh, we live California. We live right at the border. We're getting drugs like crazy. Uh, Now, if you're China, you're giving these guys chemicals. They don't know what's in those chemicals. But these big conglomerate pharmaceutical companies, which some are owned from China, uh, not only are they benefit from selling this, but there's another way that they're benefiting from you. Now, if you've been on the streets, or you have family members that have done a lot of drugs, crystal meth, you know that mental health issues have been prevalent in these people using those drugs. So, whether you guys want to believe it or not, especially in the system, there's a lot of money going through the system because of mental health. And so now, if and so hold on, let me gather my thoughts. So if this is affecting you mentally, this drug, which the chemicals are coming from another country, like China or wherever it might be, and these are big money people, big box office, fucking money, 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 and it has a secondary effect where it's leaving you with mental health problems, and you're going through the system uh, with mental health problems. Now, the government California system is winning because they're putting you in prison, they're locking you up for drugs, and the pharmaceutical companies are winning because a lot of these guys, are going to the other side. When they let go of the mainland and they're they're asking for mental health, and they're being fed who knows what type of medication. But if you follow the line of what's happening, you know, certain people that are in control, um, let's say a pharmaceutical company, they're in control. They have a benefit of sending out chemicals that alter their state of mind, not in the part, not in the on the exact subject of getting you high, but of leaving you um, with less wherewithal. So you don't know what's going on. You know, maybe it's chemicals affecting certain parts of your brain, and so everybody in the circle wins. You know, the state is winning because they're charging up a bill for moving people across the state. Like I got put in a van and sent up to Sacramento from San Diego, like a fucking 8-9 hour drive straight on straight through. Um, and they're getting paid double, triple for that trip, and the state is charging probably double, triple, quadruple the double. So they're winning money off of this, and it becomes a, a money farm. Where cows. I'm pretty sure you heard of that before, but you guys have thought of it in a lower level when this shit's getting complicated. What they're doing is, they're feeding us chemicals. Especially the lower class who are into drugs or drug users. So now you got one system introducing drugs into the institution because they're trying to they're trying to break up a gang, a mafia. So they're bringing in drugs now these people are locking it up. They're fucked up in the head. They're going to ask for mental health. They're being fed medication that we don't know what's coming from, where it's coming from, who what's in it. And I'm 99.9% sure you could trace the money, the revenue back to the same people. And we're so busy getting high and stressed out in our lives, or we're not realizing that we're being set up for ultimate failure, while these guys are cashing in every step that we make, every mistake that we're making. They're just cashing in, making billions of dollars, off of us getting high. uh, you know Medical, uh, it's a corrupt system. And unfortunately, I don't know about other states, but California plays by its own rules, and they do what they want. They have one of the biggest correctional uh, officer unions, if not the biggest one, and they basically control what happens in California politically, because we all know that money talks, bullshit walks. And if you look into it, you'd see what I'm saying is true. So now what I'm saying is, they're feeding us drugs. They're taxing the federal government for all this money because they're spending millions, if not billions of dollars on medication, transportation, extra money because they're holding us in mental hubs. They're introducing themselves, they're introducing drugs, and the California officers union is benefiting at the greatest, but at the same time there's always somebody bigger than you, so there's got to be somebody above that making billions of dollars off this medication. It's in their benefit. And you know that's the war on drug that we're facing, from our side of the table. And it's hard to get it through people's mind when you're running the streets. You just want to get high. But the word's got to start somewhere. You got to preach the truth so people realize it, and plant the seed early before they get caught up in the mix of using drugs. And things ain't like they used to be. This is not some farmers making it in the back, in the back on the ranch somewhere, to make $1. No, these are gangs of people that have made this into a big business. And if they need to cut corners and put some bullshit asthmatic ingredients in there, some ingredients that will fuck up your head, they don't give two shits about that. Everybody wants to make their money. But it's bigger than that, man. It goes back to big pharmaceutical companies cashing in on our loss, on our mistakes. And who knows who would ever see this, but I lived that life. Both as as a druggie and behind the walls on the streets, and I pay close attention to what's going on. And maybe I don't see it right then and there, but I'm gonna figure you out. And that's what I've done for over 21 years of fighting the system and trying to put them out there so they can own up to the crooked shit they're doing. And the thing is, it's only hurting us. It's hurting, our raza, Mexican, Hispanic, Latinos, blacks, and the poor white, the lower level, whites. And they've taken control of what was ours, California. And, as like a lot of these governments, they don't want us here. They feel like we're multiplying in numbers, and they got to figure out how to lock us up, put us away, just like they take children away, and putting up borders. There's just a bigger plan that people, I don't know if they haven't taken the time to actually look at it, or it's just that through daily struggles and trying to make ends meet that we haven't been able to open our eyes. But it's food for thought, and maybe something we could start putting into our kids' minds as they start growing up, before they start hitting the streets and just giving their life away to a system that's made and meant to control us and oppress us. Thank you for your time.